What's up, guys? It is Max mostly, and I'm here to bring you another video. And this video, I wanted to talk about this hashtag today called the Day of Facts, and facts seem to be a important thing. And that seems to be a redundant statement. Of course, facts are important, but we all disagree on which facts are the real ones and which ones are the alternative ones. And do alternative facts exist? Can you have alternative facts? Can they coexist? I think no, but then it's also because so many people present things as facts when they should be presenting them as possibilities or theories. So, hashtag Day of Facts. Let's just look into some of the things that they have as a Day of Facts, what people are posting. So, Washington Post, museums and libraries fight alternative facts. Oh shit, that's serious. When our libraries and our museums have to do it, my god. First, the national parks went rogue, sharing climate change data over Twitter. Now museums and libraries have taken up arms, or at least typing fingers, to fight on behalf of facts, using the hashtag Day of Facts. More than 280 scientific and cultural institutions are devoting Friday to dropping 140 character truths on Twitter. I'm sure this won't backfire. Many of the facts seem pointedly political, like the National Museum of American Jewish History's tweet about a George Washington letter affirming religious freedom in the country, or a placard held up in a video by Chicago's Field Museum that stated, "Climate change is accelerating the extinction of plants and animals." I have no doubt it is. The real question is, the balance of human stuff. Is there a lot we can even do to stop it? If climate change is completely real, totally man-made, and most of it is coming from men, then basically everyone have to go vegan. We could all be on carbon taxes. We could eliminate oil tomorrow, but if we don't go vegan, it's still going to destroy it. So please don't carbon tax me until you stop eating that steak, motherfucker. Okay, so the political watch Cowspiracy. I'm not saying you got to believe in climate change. I'm just saying if it is real, that would be the main cause. And so I'm mostly talking to climate activists. Before you tell people to go carbon tax it up, you need to go vegan first, buddy. Put your money where your mouth is, or put the trees where your mouth is. But don't eat too many of them. The political undertone is the goal. The political undertone is the goal. Should that be a goal for museums and libraries? Shouldn't they be like a general place of like all different kinds of views? No, even your museums are getting political now. A museum educator from Virginia who helped organize the campaign was Allie Hartley with her colleague Mara Kurlandansky. We're using facts to illustrate the truth about the present moment. By mid-morning, the hashtag was trending in the United States. That's cool. The greenhouse effect. Sunlight is reflected by Earth's atmosphere. Sun, most of it. Exactly. And global warming has happened many, many times before. We were at the end of a cooling trend when we started measuring global warming in the late 70s. And, right now we have all kinds of complicated stuff, mainly because the predictions have just been off and off and off and off. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I understand that. But the predictions have not been accurate, and people are still touting Al Gore like he's a hero when basically the end of the world was supposed to happen already, Whenever it's a Christian guy saying, it's the end of the world, we malign him, but not people who try to use facts to do it. And that thought itself is a meme that I took from someone else. Who knows who it was? If you know who it was, tag him. Chimpanzees are humans' closest living relatives. They share 99% of their DNA with us. That's a fact. Museum of the City. By 1910, immigrants accounted for 40% of the city's population. Does it seem like there's a certain people they're going after? But I don't know. See, if they're talking about this, that might be attacking Muslims too, because Muslims also don't believe in evolution. So you might be offending some Muslims here, guys. You better be careful about that. I'm gonna tweet them and let them know in a little while. But let's go back to the Day of Facts. I think you get it. The fact that a museum has freaking political undertones that they're trying to do this is kind of messed up. But I mean, these are facts. I'm I'm not gonna disagree with them. People need to learn some history if it takes this kind of thing. Whatever, that's fine. During World War II, Death Valley hosted 65 endangered internees after the Manzanar riot. Japanese American internment. You know what I also found out? About 10,000 to 14,000 Japanese Americans also served in World War II in Italy for the U.S. So that'd be nice if they put that in there too, instead of just focusing on the negatives, because every country has done something negative. This is just more of this guilt, Western guilt. You could call it white guilt, but I would call it Western guilt more than anything. And it's bullshit. Every country has done fucked up stuff, and if anything, we have done more to do less fucked up shit. Okay, back to the facts. Tennessee. One Christian is slaughtered every 6 minutes by Muslims. But remember, folks, the religion of peace. Is that the Tennessee GOP? They straight up got the name Tennessee on their shit. So, here we go. The most dangerous place for Christians is Africa. Unless I think it's Uganda. That might be 70% of those killed were slaughtered in tribal conflicts. So yeah, it's a serious thing. And even more so if you don't believe in the same God. Remaining 30%, 27,000 Christians were killed in terror attacks. The most threatening religion to Christianity remains Islam. Over there, most definitely. Over here, it's not to that point yet. It could very well get to that point. I feel like, somewhat in Europe that happened. There was a priest in Europe. I think it was in Ireland, and they had basically the dude, this guy, Muslim guy, denounced Christ in front of him in a church, and they invited him there. It was just really awkward. So, Obama described the Muslim immigrants as women and children. Red Cross. 72% of men of fighting age. Day of facts, bitch. Okay, so this is actually something I checked out. So this is the source that no, that's not the source I got. This is the source that I got. And you see down here, it shows children, women, men, 72%. Let's zoom in to that. 72% right there. So I checked it. They said this report right here. So check that out. And just mind you, this was written in 2015, September. So now, as of January 31st, I believe the days, 2017, it is at 57.7% men, 25% children, and 16% women. So still, the popular vote goes to the men on this one, and most of those refugees are coming from Syrians. So technically, they're not lying. They're just, their numbers have changed and often they need to update their numbers. But sort of a fact. I'll Snopes it as half true. Large crowd protesting Donald Trump before his speech. Resist. Day of facts. Okay. That's a fact. They are protesting, and he's probably going to do a speech. That's a fact. Great job, guys. You're really getting them. Strong environmental laws like the Clean Water Act helped Cleveland clean up its act. That's a fact. Day of facts. Bitch. Hit you back. With the slap. Okay. I agree with this, actually. Call me a filthy status if you want. I think this is a good thing. I'm sorry if it's going to cost a little bit more. I know you heard me talk shit about carbon taxes. That's different. That's straight up taxing consumer for a problem that's inherent in our infrastructure that we cannot control. That's bullshit. This is, some people are just straight up being careless, and no one can really do anything or say anything to them because they're kind of pretty big. So it takes a bigger authority, and the one that we all agreed on together to do it, or didn't agree, whatever. You're born into that. I don't care. I'm not a total anarchist here or anything. I showed you where I fall on this political compass. I'm right about here. Right about here. So more Day of Facts. Look at that. They even got their own little campaign. NY Times, Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC, and ABC, and others are fake news. Day of Facts, yeah, for not completely and totally, but they do push certainly a lot of fake news, and that's something that I love. getting into. That's what I'm gonna be doing on this channel mostly. Day of facts every day. Okay, today the president has condemned the Washington Post, CNN, and CBS, MSNBC, ABC, the New York Times. Hey, look, it's all the ones that he labeled right here. I guess he has not condemned Russia. Well, did Russia do something? They hacked? They hacked us, you said? Really? Oh, it's in the Washington Post right here. Oh yeah, that's funny. You know what? I'm gonna trust The Intercept and my last video where I go into all this other stuff. No, Russia. There's no strong. I cannot say Russia did not hack us, but I can say the evidence is weak as fuck. It's so fucking weak, and they hate that it's so weak. That evidence is weak as fuck. I'll be responding to this person shortly. Anyone who interprets we're going to build a wall in order to make immigration legal to mean Trump hates Mexicans is an idiot. Day of facts. You know what? Sure. Sounds like a fact, right? I guess. Cat alien, look at that. Like, day of facts. Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by a margin of 2,865,075. That's not how you're supposed to say it, but 3 million votes. You know what else is a fact? The fucking Electoral College, which Trump, I gotta give him credit for, in his press conference, he got rid of the rhetoric where it said that I won by such a large margin. I had we're the biggest winners, and he said that we had the largest. We won huge. We won huge at the Electoral College. So, and then of course, Hillary lost a few votes. 5. And he, somehow lost a few. I don't know how that happened. Some of the states switched around and whatever. But she ended up losing an elector, and he gained 3. So that's really what happened. And you know what? The reason why we have this electoral college is because hypothetically, and this is something they could imagine when there was only 13 fucking colonies, that a city, rural areas, not so much stuff, but one city started off right, say right here, say New York, say Boston, say Massachusetts. How are you going to get the rest of the places to agree to anything if they don't have any say, if one fucking city can basically sway the entire election? There could have been a point where they could imagine in New York where there would have been like a few million people, or Boston or anything like that, and then people way out in here in Vermont would have no say, or people in Virginia would have no say. That is why we have electoral college. It is not unrealistic that a bunch of people could flood into a city. California has some of the biggest metropoli in the world, and most of those votes in that were coming from California. But California's already, like, electoral wise, it's huge. You're already like, 1/3 of the way there if you get California. Easy, done. That's what Hillary's counting on. Hey, at CNN, MSNBC, Huffington Post, Washington Post, Politico, Day of Facts is trending. I can only imagine the tension at your offices today. Look at this, WikiLeaks, Daily Beast, Huffington Post. These are all the people who shared information with the DNC. In 1971, the Women's Crisis Center is founded in Ann Arbor, one of the 2 rape crisis centers in the nation. One of the first 2 rape crisis centers in the nation. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. There still are 0 for men, but and of course, women are more affected by this, but men are not affected by it, and they are. There's no help for any men. So let's get one of those, maybe. Just one. Day of Facts. Libraries promote diversity, free speech, and access to information. Yeah, except when you guys, kind of try to put narratives in our head to get us to think a certain way about a certain president. Day of Facts. Trump supporters today. Fake fire. Fake fire. The fire's fake. I don't believe it. Yeah, sometimes the fire is fucking fake. Sometimes it's a fucking hologram. And believe me, New York Times would have the fucking technology. Like the failing Cleveland Browns, the White House is not a fine-tuned machine, but both do like the color orange. Hey, that's true. That's true. Trump does like the color orange, Mr. Cheetos. And Cleveland Browns, you know, I need to take them to the Super Bowl later. You know what I mean? Drop a few bombs in a bucket. Okay, so the White House is not a fine-tune machine. You know what? He did, if people weren't giving him, if the deep state wasn't causing so much trouble for him, you know, you guys are aware of the deep state, right? This deep state here, son? You aware of this shit? If the deep state wasn't fucking with him so much, they could be doing a lot more. And he's already completed more promises in like fucking 2 weeks than any president I remember growing up has done in 4 to 8 years. For real. Almost everyone serving number 45 has ties to white nationalism and or Russia. Remember, white nationalism is code for racist, burn, and or Russia. What's wrong with having a fucking tie to Russia? How many people have ties to China? Do you give a fuck about that? China fucking organ harvests people. Watch China Uncensored. They harvest organs from prisoners of fucking conscience, including Christians, including Falun Gong especially, of which there was millions of before. Prisoners of fucking conscience. Why don't you talk shit about China first? Russia is not the best human rights. It doesn't have the best human rights record, but it's not China. It's not fucking China. Quit. See, it's people like this that are basically, they're useful idiots pushing this Russian narrative that is literally helping the deep state. They are the useful idiots that help the deep state. Every time someone puts Russia, every time someone keeps this Russian narrative. That's why it's so important to make sure people know that it's fucking bullshit. You're more likely to be killed by an asteroid than by a refugee in the U.S. Yeah. But a refugee can plan his shit, motherfucker. And they said that ISIS is planning to come in. Why does it matter? Why is going to Turkey not enough? Why do they have to come to a Western European country? Why don't they go to China? Why don't they go to Japan? Why don't they go to Iran? Why don't they go to well, we know they're not going to go to Russia. Why don't they go to fucking South America? Why do they have to come to the West? I'm not saying they shouldn't, but maybe it should be spread a little evenly. Like maybe the UN could work out a thing where it's like we all take in a little bit at a time, and then it's, you know, easier to monitor, because there is a fucking war there that Hillary Clinton started in Syria, and we don't know what the fuck is going on. And Trump was right to be like, hold on, pause. What the fuck are we doing? We're just like, bring everybody in. America's under attack by George Soros, who funds 187 radical organizations. Arrest Soros now! So this is where I'm going to stop, but I have a little video for you here by a guy named Matthew Buddha. He's going to tell you a little bit about George Soros.
An Esperanto word meaning will soar. And just to give you an idea of what kind of person George Soros is, in a 60-minute interview, he claimed feeling no guilt after aiding and abetting the Nazis, helping them to confiscate property from the Jews.
Went out, in fact, and helped in the confiscation of property from the Jews.
That's right.
I mean, that sounds
no shame.
Like an experience that would send lots of people to the psychiatric couch for many, many years.
Not if you hold it in.
Was it difficult?
Hold it in tight.
Not at all. Not at all. Maybe
That's
as a child,
fucking smile, dude.
You don't see the connection. But it created no problem at all.
No,
it was
feeling
no
of guilt.
problem.
No.
Yeah, we just had a problem from the Jews. But remember, Trump is literally Hitler, not the guy funding the people against Trump, who literally worked for Hitler. No. That's not.
Soros has
that doesn't
over
matter.
$25 billion. An Institute for Social Justice. For Soros has funded the American Institute for Social Justice, the New America Foundation, and the Migration Policy Institute, all of whom are proponents for an unfettered open border policy. But even more importantly, and even more recently, I'm sure you all remember the Berkeley riots. Well, a group called Refuse Fascism actually claimed responsibility for the riot. Does that term sound familiar?
Hard bastard put that
He
in.
was constantly claiming responsibility for violence. And on the Refuse Fascism website, the group identifies the Alliance for Social Justice as its fiscal sponsor, and the Alliance for Global Justice has direct ties to the Open Society Foundation, which is George Soros' foundation. George Soros, either indirectly or directly, is funding Antifa. And whether many in
Yep. So that's all the day of facts I have for you today. I'll see you guys on the next one, and have a good one. Peace.